between SmackDown, Raw, and NXT, which will see the GMs discuss moving superstars across brands. Now, this is potentially good news, as there are several superstars stuck around on Raw and SmackDown, as well as NXT talents who are ready for a pull-up to the main roster. While this latest shakeup is a reminder of how the WWE draft is absolutely meaningless, other than to give a boost to Raw and SmackDown's ratings during the draft episodes, it has the potential to give some talent a fresh coat of paint and create new matchups. Now, there were only rumors a few weeks ago that the WWE is relaxing the brand split, but is this the first move to actually pulling it all together? Right now, the brands kind of mean nothing anyway. We didn't even get brand warfare at Survivor Series, so what's the point in carrying it on? What do you guys think of the WWE's transfer window? Next up, the original plans for the New Day heel turn. But the WWE Universe had some sad surprises this week, chief among them Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston's heel turn, but they told New Day teammate Biggie that they don't need him and they're tired of waiting for him to recover from his neck injury. However, a new report from Dave Meltzer states that this wasn't WWE's original plan. While they were apparently always going to turn Kofi and Xavier heel, this week's Observer explained how Odyssey Jones would have factored into the storyline. When Odyssey Jones came in, they were going to tease issues with them not getting along, but it would end up with Kingston and Woods going heel by choosing Jones and have them publicly replace him. But then Jones got fired and the whole thing was put on hold. Jones was abruptly fired by the WWE this summer after a main roster debut in August and a storyline with Woods and Kingston. While nothing has been confirmed, one rumor is the domestic violence allegations against Jones led to the WWE releasing him, although there are no reports of any arrests made. Next up, WWE injury crisis. Now it seems like every day we seem to hear more and more superstars getting injured. The War Games match certainly took a toll on many of those wrestlers. Fightful Wrestling reports there are 3 competitors dealing with War Games related injuries. Bronson Reed, a broken foot, Jimmy Uso, a broken toe, and now Tonga Loa, a torn bicep. The WWE needs to ask whether the sick bumps that superstars like Jimmy Uso and Bronson Reed are worth the injuries. While War Games matches are now based on the idea of one hotspot after another, wrestlers' attempts to outdo the previous year's event are not without consequences. Right now, there are at least 10 injuries on the active roster, and these aren't even including people like Big E, Carmella, Charlotte Flair, and Shotzi, who've been out of action for months. Does the WWE need to scale back things on spots? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Bronson Reed broke his foot. Now, Bronson Reed is set for surgery sometime this week. At least that's a report from PW Insider, which notes Big Bronson is going under the knife in Birmingham, Alabama to repair the foot he broke during this year's War Games match. Sadly, Bronson's injury has shelved the WWE's plans for the awesome Australian. PW Insider recently reported that Reed was booked for steel cage matches against Seth Rollins during the WWE's upcoming holiday tour. Now we're wishing the best to all the superstars that are injured, including Bronson Reed, and we hope that the surgery is successful. Next up, Rock rumors. It's time for a quick reminder on a report of the various news sites that have milked dry the Rock status for WrestleMania 41. And we want to inform viewers that despite many news sites reporting on The Rock's presence or absence this year at Mania, the current story is that WWE is booking the show with the idea that he won't be available, but surely WWE will find a way to bring him in should things change. Right now, Netflix are even hopeful that The Rock will appear on the Raw debut of Netflix on January 6th. If that happens, Raw's Netflix debut is going to be huge. Next up, we finally now know what The Rock meant. Now remember when The Rock returned at Bad Blood and just put up a simple 3 fingers? Was it to confirm Moana 3? Was it to confirm that he'll be back in 3 months? Does it outline the number of seconds that it would take to pin Solo Sikoa? Well no, now we actually finally know. As Fightful Selective confirmed that WWE had no plan whatsoever. It was just to get The Rock on screen, and possibly throwing up the cryptic message just meant nothing. Now The Rock is The Rock, and it seems that whenever he wants to do something with WWE, he'll just go out and do it. And finally, Jacob Fatu roasts a fan. Last but not least, Jacob Fatu is a man of a few words, which made his comments toward an apparently abusive fan all the more meaningful and hilarious. A fan told Jacob Fatu he sucked, to which the Samoan werewolf kept it real, telling the fan, "Your mama sucked deep." Do you think these exchanges are further proof that WWE should embrace a TV-14 format for Raw? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more. Telling the fan, "Your mama's words," which made it The Rock is The Rock, and it seems that whenever he wants to do something with WWE, he'll just go out and do it. And finally, Jacob Fatu roasts a fan. Last but not least, Jacob Fatu is a man of a few words, which made his comments toward an apparently abusive fan all the more meaningful and hilarious. A fan told Jacob Fatu he sucked, to which the Samoan werewolf kept it real, telling the fan, "Your mama sucked deep." Do you think these exchanges are further proof that WWE should embrace a TV-14 format for Raw? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
So I bought the form science bra, the one Taylor Swift wears that's supposed to fix your posture. Was this my best financial decision? Probably not. But here it is. This is the form science. It's supposed to be made with some kind of special fabric that holds your shoulders back. And when you're walking around with two bowling balls on your chest, you need all the help you can get. I was totally ready to hate it. I actually made up an email. I was ready to send it. It's $100 for a bra is crazy, right? But it actually does what it says it's going to do. Look at this. I'm not even trying to stand up straight. This is a sports bra doing its job. Let me show you how it looks in a regular sports bra. This is sort of like the Calvin Power Bra. See how my shoulders just kind of naturally slope forward? This is from a gosh, back to the board bra. Definitely feel more human. Don't feel like a question mark like I'm like this. It's like my shoulders are automatically where they're supposed to be. It was a bit tight at first, but now it fits just right. The girls are securely fastened and don't feel musculation. So yeah, you can say it works. I'm pretty impressed.
So a fresh new week has arrived, and here on this channel, that means one thing and one thing only. Every week I post an episode of the series called Your Take It On Mine, where I turn to you viewers to give me your hottest NBA takes or good, based on what's going on at the time, and I then choose my favorite submissions and discuss them in the video. This week, we got to watch more big games and big matchups go down, the standings have continued to take shape, and some interesting developments are unfolding, so we definitely have plenty to discuss. In order to submit your takes, I make a community post on either the day of or the day before the video, similar to the one that you see on your screen now. So if you want a chance to be featured in a future episode, be sure to stay on the lookout for that. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now already subscribed to the channel. So if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but it also very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first take we're discussing today comes to us from Aragon, and he says that Nikola Jokic should not be the favorite to win the MVP this year due to previous season's hypocrisies. Nikola Jokic's consistent greatness is well understood by now, to the point where the ridiculous feats that he pulls off night in and night out just start to seem standard for him. He's already a three-time winner of the MVP award in his career, and somehow he's still getting better, with this current season seeing him somehow elevating his production across the board. Jokic right now is averaging a career-high 30 points per game, he's leading the NBA in rebounding, he's dishing out a career-high in assists per game as well, and he's shooting a career-best 50% from three. Obviously, I don't think all of these things are necessarily sustainable to the fullest over an 82-game season, but it's still looking like he's in for the best years of his career, if not the best individual. And because of that, there is definitely a good reason to have him ranked at number one in a current MVP race. I do, however, see the point of the original poster that he's making here and believe that it is valid given the circumstances. Jokic has been in some tight MVP races over the last 5 years, with the rationale for why he has gotten the edge over varying other players season to season differing, and it is correct.
You've been taking some for a couple of days, but you needed some money now? I got you.
So Dave Extra Cash has been my absolute
lifesaving because it gives me a generous advance when I'm needing money the most. And what's even more clutch is that they send the money to you. They're spending the account in 5 minutes and there's no interest or late fees. Yeah, you're right. I'm really struggling between paychecks and sometimes don't even have enough money for the essentials. And instead of asking to borrow money from others, I just download Dave, open an extra cash account, get in advance, and settle it at a later date. It's that easy. Download it now.
Over Lukadoncic's and Shaver's home is that he had better video production than SGA, and he seemed to work with that Lukadoncic and the Dallas Mavericks. Right now, the Nuggets are currently sitting in 8th place in the Western Conference standings, which, after spending the whole season talking about how the can't come from lower seed, does come off as a bit of a break. The problem with any of these definitive arguments is that everything needs to be taken into context, and people just don't know to do that. This season, there just is not any other player on the top seeds that come close to matching Jokic's other wealthy production, and Twin, I'm sorry, but you do have to have the numbers to back it up like Lucas needs. Guards on the Depot is probably the next best candidate so far this season. Also having a career year, but his Bucks team is barely above 500. If Luka Doncic can get back to producing in their triple, while scoring over 30 points per game like he did last year, while his Mavericks team remains in the top 4 like they are right now, then I could definitely see him breaking that conversation. But otherwise, all of this is like hypocrisy as a conversation. That could be just. The next team we'll be discussing today is to us from the side. He says that Tyrese Maxey is starting to very open. The Sixers as a whole are having a disastrous start to the season, sitting in 42nd place in the East standings with very few bright spots to point to. Injuries have plagued Joel Embiid and Paul George, the role players can't shoot, and even Tyrese Maxey himself is playing below the standards that he set for himself in prior years. Despite being thrust into much more of a focus due to circumstances, he's actually scoring fewer points per game than he did last year, averaging about 25. But the most worrying part of all is that his efficiency has fallen off the cliff. Maxey used to be one of the most efficient volume scorers, but this year he's making just 40% of his shots from the field and 30% of his shots from 3, well below the average. Some may be willing to just write it off as a slump, but the truth may be a bit more uncomfortable to address. With the state of the Sixers, many people love to call for the team to just blow it up and quote-unquote build around Maxey. The problem is that Maxey probably is not a player that can handle the needs of a go-to guy that can be built around. Maxey has always been at his best playing alongside Joel Embiid and James Harden when Harden was sick, and can great the defenses do to those guys. When Maxey comes to take the play of the opposition, he genuinely struggles in a way where he plays more under control, he takes way too many tough contested shots, and he doesn't have the court vision or passing talent to run the paint full time. To put it simply, Maxey has definitely been a bit overrated by the average fan based on conversations that he has about himself as a player. The good news is that the truth about what Maxey is as a player is that he's definitely an outstanding number 2 option that can have some explosive scoring nights when he doesn't have to be the one leading the team. And that's still incredibly valuable of itself. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Kakarot, and he says that in order to win this season and match up well with the best of the rest. The Magic are probably the most slept-on successful squad in the NBA at the moment, currently sitting in third place in the East, tearing it up over the last few weeks. This young team has emerged as a playoff squad last year and is now taking yet another leap forward. In many ways, they are solidifying themselves as one of the best teams in the conference. The most impressive part of all of this is the fact that they're dominating without their leading scorer, Paolo Banchero, who dropped 50 points in a game against the Pacers earlier this season. Banchero has been out for about a month now, and yet in the last 15 games, the Magic have won 13 of them without him. And